Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff and Key TV. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps our channel. And let me know what you thought of today's video. Alright, Beverly Hills, let's get into it. Alright, so we start with Erika in the car giving us just a little tease of what's going on within her marriage. Not really much information, but she kind of gives this ominous look to the camera and it's just like, okay. It's so dramatic. And then we have all of the women together and they're talking about Erika's on her way, and Garcella asks do you really think she's filing for divorce, and Lisa Rinna says yes. And so that's ahead. We come back into Kyle getting ready for her election party, and Mauricio comes in and she starts telling him about this little tiff that she has going on with Dorit. So apparently, and then we head over to Dorit's place and she's talking to PK in her green checkered outfit, and PK is I'm struggling to see what's so patriotic about this, and she's it's a look, and he's maybe it's patriotic if you're Irish. And so I kind of like PK now. The whole Pantygate thing, I hated him and Dorit. I thought they were both super disgusting, but over the years PK's gotten a little bit funny. And so Dorit's telling him what happened between Kyle and Dorit. So they were on the plane. Dorit was talking to Crystal about the events that happened over the weekend, and then Kyle says she turns around and jumps in, and so Dorit's can I just finish my sentence first and then you talk? And Kyle's well, you need to let other people have a voice too and let them talk. And it's really, Kyle, I feel Dorit and Kyle are constantly having the same issue. Dorit will be talking to someone about something, and then Kyle will jump in and feel she needs to add something to it, and Dorit's let me finish. And then I feel it's kind of the same thing. I feel if somebody's talking to Kyle, then Dorit will jump in and Kyle gets mad. They just, I don't know. I feel they're always having to talk over each other, but PK's give her a taste of her own medicine. When she starts talking, you cut her off and then let me know so I can watch. He's so shady. Messy. So everyone starts coming to Kyle's house for election night. Crystal, I love how tall Crystal is. I don't know what it is. It's just not that many tall women on these Housewives show, and I'm always taken aback by her height. And of course she's gorgeous. But she has her little blue jacket, and they're trying to make sure they're all patriotic wearing their clothing. I like Kyle's dress. It's very pretty. That's a very pretty blue. So Crystal and Rob get there first, and she's just kind of telling him a little bit about what happened over the trip, and just saying how weird it is to not have someone be really nice to her. Just her issues with Sutton. And then who else gets there? Kathy gets there, right? Kathy gets there. And then they're all three of them are talking, and Dorit gets there, and Kyle's who's here? And Crystal's oh, it's Dorit. She's are you okay? Kyle's So I'm okay, great. They're already it's already all weird energy. So Dorit is there with PK, and Kyle says she has her little leprechaun outfit on. It's all this shade. Girl, why didn't you just wear something red, white, or blue, just to avoid all of this? Because you're gonna get so much flack for that outfit. But and then Sutton gets there. Sutton, what are you wearing? Crystal's face when she saw Sutton's outfit was but they're very polite and they say hi and stuff. And then Rinna gets there. I don't know, I just really like this look on Rinna. Because we're so used to the short haircut, and sometimes she does do wigs. I like this wig. I like this blue jumpsuit. The heels are really cute. I don't know, I like this outfit. I do. So then the ladies bring up Erika's divorce, and I feel they're all saying that they didn't know until she texted them that morning. I don't know if I believe them. Well, especially not Rinna, because I feel Erika's closer to Rinna. I feel she had to have known something. But Kyle was just saying in her confessional that if she was getting a divorce, she would tell these women, and she just thought they were closer than that. And I'm Kyle, do we remember just last season when Kyle told Erika that she has no close friends? Because I'm not the shady editors of Bravo, so I can't run it back for you. Go back and watch last season when they're at Erika's house and they're all like fighting with Kyle, and she talks to Erika and she's like, well, that's because you don't have any close friends. But now she thought that they were closer and that Erika would divulge this information to Kyle. Girl, bye. Kyle gets on my last nerve. So anyway, the men are outside talking, and Mauricio asks, like, Rob, Crystal's husband, like, so what did Crystal report back? I think it was Mauricio, or was it PK? One of them asked Rob about, like, what Crystal told him about the girls' trip. And he said, well, she got along with mostly everyone. And then Mauricio was like, well, who was it, Sutton? And then Mauricio jumps in and he's like, well, what I heard is she was just returning a sweater. That's not all that happened, Mauricio, so shut up. And then PK was like, well, I would never just, like, go into someone's room without knocking. Well, it's not the knocking part, PK. Like, I'm on your side, but it's not the knocking part. It's the knocking and then not waiting for a come in. It's just the knocking and then walking straight into someone's room. Because then what is the point of knocking? That's it. That's the issue. What is the point of knocking if you're just going to walk into someone's room without hearing a come in? If you're going to do that, why are you even knocking? Just walk right in. Oh, God. So then PK and Mauricio start fighting. And Mauricio is like, well, come on, if this was a guy's trip, you would just walk into my room. And PK was like, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't just walk into your room. And it's not a guy's trip. This is a girl's trip. And then Mauricio was like, well, I'm not even sure I'd invite you on a guy's trip. And PK was like, good, I'm not going. You're not inviting, I'm not going. And I'm like, how are they fighting now? They're taking on their wives' fight now? Like, I thought they were just like buddy, and now it's like they're fighting. It's a mess. So then we get back to the ladies, and then of course Kyle has to bring up the whole issue between Crystal and Sutton again. I'm like, do we have to? So she brings it up, and then Sutton's like, well, I apologize. I thought we were all good. Crystal's like, we're good. She's like, but I got home and I lost 5 pounds. And then Kathy's like, well, see, you should be thanking Sutton for the weight loss. This is a mess. So then Crystal brings up the fact that, like, it wasn't a good weight loss because she's a recovering bulimic. And then I could kind of tell, like, Sutton's getting uncomfortable because she doesn't want to be associated with Crystal's bulimia. And, like, oh, so it's my fault, like, you lost 5 pounds. And I don't think that's the issue. I think, you know, Crystal just said it was just a stressful weekend, so she wasn't relapsing, she just wasn't eating because of stress. And I mean, it does have to do with Sutton, but it's not Sutton's fault that Crystal lost 5 pounds. Crystal's just, you know, recovering bulimic. Stress and food can, you know, like, control, lots of control. Crystal said she actually picked up her bulimia addiction when she was 11. She saw a video in her I think sex education class, I can't remember, but it was about eating disorders, and it was like the negative effects of eating disorders. But you just, when you're young and your brain is still absorbing information, you sometimes pick up the negative traits and kind of will ignore the negative traits and like, ooh, I can use that as my advantage. And so she picked it up and has been dealing with it ever since she was 11. And it's just, well, they're all like Kathy and Crystal are friends, and she didn't know this about her, so she just thanks her for sharing, and they're all saying, you know, how brave she is to be sharing this, because just eating disorders are just such a hard thing to talk about and to share and to recover from. So it is pretty important that she's sharing. And Rinna talked, you know, about Amelia and how she shared her struggles with anorexia. And I just feel like it's so important to get the discussion out there because you just never know who you're going to help. Okay, so whose side are you on, Kyle or Dorit's? I think they're both annoying. But I'm going to have to say I'm on Dorit's side. They start talking, they go off by themselves, and they start talking about the situation. Blah, blah, blah. Dorit's like, you interrupted me. Kyle's like, you screamed at me. And then Dorit reminds her, like, well, you screamed at me and you interrupted me all last season. And Kyle's like, well, do you value our friendship? Then don't ever talk to me like that again. And I was like, really, Kyle? Well, Dorit's, I'm glad she, you know, ran the tape back in her mind. She's like, oh really? So like that's what you're gonna do? You're gonna put our friendship, like give me an ultimatum? She's like, okay, so then last year when you screamed F you Dorit, F you Dorit, should I have said don't ever talk to me like that again? We're not friends? And I'm sorry, but I have to agree with Dorit. Kyle was horrible to Dorit last year because she had Teddy on her side. Now that Teddy's gone, her and Dorit are buddy again, but she still feels like she can talk to Dorit any which way. And I do not agree, Kyle. I do not agree. You can't talk to people any which way and then get mad when they talk back to you the same way. Give respect and you'll receive respect. And I just don't feel like Kyle respects Dorit. I really feels like Kyle feels like this is her show and Dorit needs to fall in line. And Dorit used to fall in line, but she's not falling in line anymore. And she's going to speak up for herself. And Kyle needs to get with the message. It'd be different if Kyle was respectful and they were cool last season and she didn't talk to her the way that she did, because we all remember it. And now she's demanding respect and demanding don't ever talk to me like that again. Girl, it would be different if Kyle was different. But we know how you acted. And no, you can't have it both ways. You can't. You can't talk to anybody any way you want and then expect them to like treat you how you want to be treated. You need to do the same. Girl, bye. So then Dorit's like, I'm ready to go. We're good. And she makes PK leave. He was sad because he didn't get to eat. And she's like, you ate a hamburger. You'll be fine. And he's like, I know, but it feels like it's rude because we just left without eating. She's like, whatever. Like, well, your friend shouldn't treat you that way. And so then, like, she says goodbye. She said goodbye to the ladies before they left. And she never brought it up. She just brought up that her dad was there and she wanted to make sure she got to see him while he was in town. When Kyle gets back, she brings it up and she's like, well, I feel bad that Dorit left. And they were like, no, it's fine. And she's like, yeah, but I feel bad that we had like this fight. And Kathy is like, well, Sutton's just glad that she's not in the middle of it. Which you can tell she is. Like, leave me out of it. Like, she finally gets breaks. I would be glad too. So Sutton and Garcelle meet up at a private dealership. Sutton had them close it down so they could take off their mask. She's looking for a brand new car. This is the first car she's bought on her own without asking permission. So she's feeling very empowered. Her and Garcelle are just having a good time talking about like a little bit about the election and then Erika and her divorce. And Garcelle can relate because she had a very public, nasty divorce. But she just saying, like Garcelle, when she was going through her divorce, she didn't want to see anyone or talk to anyone, so she can understand how Erika feels. And Garcelle and Sutton are just driving, and Garcelle's like, you're just going through a lot of changes. Is there something I should know? Like new house, new car? And they're just, relating it to like men when they have midlife crises. And she's like, well, men get Porsche, Corvette, and she get a Bentley? I think she got a Bentley, but she can do what she wants. She's got money now and freedom. Get you a car, girl. So we get to Crystal's house. I just really, really like Crystal. I do. I do. She's talking to her husband, like she's fixing dinner for her and the kids, and she's talking to her husband about meeting everyone last night because it was his first time, and he said he had a really nice conversation with Sutton. She seemed very nice and easy to talk to. And she says like Rob is just like likable. He gets along with people. He's a lot nicer than she is. And I can relate. I feel like my husband's the same way. He's very like easy to talk to. He talks to anybody. He's very extrovert. I'm very introverted. And I feel like he is a lot nicer to people than I am. Because I'm so quiet and reserved and cut off. And he's just like the life of the party. So I could definitely relate to Crystal on that. They talk a little bit more about like her bulimia, because he says like I was surprised that you brought it up to the women, because like Rinna comes up to them, just saying that she's very brave because Rinna had dealt with the same issue with her daughter, and she's like, yeah, I wasn't expecting to talk about it, but just it's easier to you feel better when you talk about it when it's not like holding you captive. And she just say, growing up in California, you're surrounded, like I grew up in California, so especially Southern California, you're surrounded by mostly white people, and When you're black or a person of color trying to fit in, you want to look like what you're surrounded by, which is young, thin, white women. And so I could definitely relate to her on that. And it's so easy to see how you could pick up an eating disorder and trying to fit in and trying to blend and trying to not stick out even though you do. And just her body issues. That's like another thing. When she was talking about the body issues thing, it kind of brought me back to when Sutton walked in on her naked and she cowered and covered her body in the fetal position. I'm wondering if that has to do with the trauma of having an eating disorder and so much shame around your body. I'm wondering if that relates at all. I don't know. I'm feeling like that's connected in a way, and that would explain a lot to me. But I'm just so glad she's being open and sharing, and we're getting to learn more about her. And I just really like her. I know a lot of people are angry with her and they hate her because they love Sutton. I feel like you can like Sutton or love Sutton and still appreciate Crystal. Maybe you can't because you're mad at her because she doesn't like Sutton. But I really, really like Crystal. I just really do. And I hope she sticks around for seasons to come. Kyle and Kathy head over to Sutton's store. I forgot she had a store. But they go to her store and they're talking about Sutton's party. She's having a Parisian party at her house. And Kyle throws shade in the confessional. She's like, well, actually, it's my house because Sutton is renting Kyle's house. But I'm like, really, Kyle, let it go. But at Sutton's temporary house, she's going to be throwing a party. Kathy needs to know if Erika's coming. She wants the deets about the divorce. Sutton texts Erika, and she is coming to the party, which we saw at the beginning. So we already knew that she was coming. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Not much happened there. We're at Lisa Rinna's house. Not much to see. Lisa's making fun of Harry's new garden, his tacky ass pool. But she does say, I mean, like, he's right about most things. So she's gonna let him have his garden, his tacky ass pool. The pool is for like a reservoir of water so they can put out fires. She has like a hose that she has to do and everything. They do have one of those lettuce grow things, those like gardens that you can make from the little standing things. I want one so bad. I don't know how to describe it, but just look up lettuce grow. You will want one, and eventually I'm gonna get one, so I'm very jealous of that. They talk about divorce, Erika's divorce, and Harry's been through 2, and they say they never want to get divorced from each other, so we'll see how long that lasts, but they've been going strong for this long. I love Harry gray. He was like all gray. Looks really good on him. But that was pretty much it. So Kyle heads over to Crystal. They're going to go over to Sutton's together. I counted it 4 times Kyle looked over at that bag on the table. That $95,000 bag that Crystal has. So they're just talking, making small talk about like how cold it is in the party. And like Kyle cannot stop looking at the bag. And then finally she's just like, okay, that bag over there is very distracting. And then she goes and picks it up. It's this tiny little Hermes bag, but she can't. She's like, I have not heard one thing Crystal said. I'm just like looking at that bag. And I mean, it's $95,000, so it's a bag to look at. But it was hilarious that like she was really distracted by that bag. Like 4 times I counted her like drawn to it. So Kyle and Crystal are the first ones to get to Sutton's house, and it's weird for Kyle being in the house because this is her old house, and it's just really weird for her. And then Rinna gets there, and Rinna is wearing the same dress as Kyle. It's just like 3 times. And of course the editors have to go back and show this is now Rinna's 3rd offense of wearing the same outfit as somebody else. And Sutton's like, y'all need to get new stylists. And they really do. Like, how does this keep happening? How? So they're freaking out. Dorit gets there. She sees that they're wearing the same dress. Freaking out. Then Garcelle gets there. She sees that they're wearing the same dress. And she's like, you guys are kidding me, right? And so they get drinks. they're toasting for the new presidency, and then Kathy gets there. So they start talking about Erika and Tom, and just like Garcelle's asking like no one knew, and they keep saying they didn't know, and you know how Erika's a private person and she keeps things close to her chest, and when she's ready she will talk about things. And then Garcelle says, well, shouldn't she wait? And they're like, wait for what? Dorit caught it. We all did, except for the women there. And this is like another thing, like, because then, okay, so let me go back. So then finally, like, they're like, what, can you fill us in? Because, like, just you and Dorit know what you're talking about. And she's like, well, they've just been married for so long, 18 years, and then they finally catch it. And they're like, Garcelle! So in her confessional, it was like, let me tell you, Tom's 82, but sometimes people live till they're 100. Which is true. You just never know. So, you know, Garcelle's implying that shouldn't she just wait till he's dead? And I mean, you've been married this long. And it's like another thing that I would never say, but of course I'm thinking it. And of course, like, we need Garcelle to say it because we're all thinking it. And she's the only one who will say these things that we're thinking, but I would never say that. So they're like shocked that she said it. And then Erika walks in, closes the door with the pose, and another to be continued. Like, I'm so sick of these to be continued. It's like with Beverly Hills and New York, to be continued. It's not that, like, stop. Just share it. Hair flip. That's how mad I am. Like, enough. We want to see the full thing. Stop with these to be continued. It's so dramatic and annoying. But anyways, that's it for this episode. This was like, I feel like it was a good one. There's some filler in it, but I feel like it was still a good one. Beverly Hills has been delivering for me this season, so I've been enjoying it even with the filler. But let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Please hit the like button. It really, really helps my channel. And hit that notification bell so you're in the know when I release a new video. And subscribe. I would love to have you a part of Steph and Key TV. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.